Independent and thrifty. Well, she's both independent and thrifty, and I can perhaps do a little tale to demonstrate this. When she was 11 years old, she wanted to go into town on her own and have something to eat and come back again. So, it's a great little deliberation with Kathleen. We decided to let her go. She came back a few hours later with a big grin on her face, which is not an unusual situation. She'd been into town on the bus, she'd gone to Jackson's Chippy, and she'd had fish and chips and a can of pop, and come home again on the bus. At 11 years old, I think it would be less independence. But what tickled me was the fact that she told us that she got the can of pop before she went into Jackson's Chippy, because she knew it'd be twice as expensive when she was there. That's my girl. Of course, later on they became boyfriends. Unfortunately, at one point, Julia's only criterion for boyfriends is that they should be taller. As she stands at 5'11", as you can well imagine, we had a procession of very tall, some days exceedingly dim men coming through the house. Later on, thankfully, she extended those criteria to include intelligent and witty. But she didn't quite go as far as wealthy, thinking that perhaps a bridge too far. Indeed, when she first told me that she'd met this tall and handsome young man, looking for beers afterwards for this. Of course, my first question to her, being a responsible father, was, has he got any money? She replied, oh Dad, you men are all the same. It's the first thing he asked about you. He may not be wealthy yet, but he's certainly intelligent and witty, although some of his so-called friends might not appear to think so. I was running elements of this speech only yesterday with a few of them in the pub, and one of them, who shall remain nameless because I just do not want to embarrass anybody, I think that's best known in Paul. This unnamed person suggested, why not say, 24 years ago she went to bed with a dummy, and now she's about to repeat the performance. But Anthony, he certainly is not. We've known him quite some time now, and I can assure you he's a fine young man. And I'm sure that his parents, Joanne and Adrian, are as proud of him today as we are of Julia. The fact that he's an ardent Preston North Lincoln, of course, does not colour my judgment light. In the time that we've known Anthony, he's shown himself to be considerate, kind, polite, and possessed of a very good sense of humour, which is excellently a blessing when you do this one. Yep. And I've never ever had a crossline. But then again, when you've got a son who's 6'4", and a son-in-law who's 6'5", you don't really tend to think of things to fall out. Yep, Anthony has many qualities, but as those of you who know him well might agree, decisiveness is perhaps not. When he first started coming around, and I asked him if he wanted a beer, I thought he was deaf. It turns out he was just trying to make his mind up. That's all behind us now. We've got that down to about 5 minutes. Anyway, he knows where the beers are. Now there is a tale of someone who, when asked to describe himself in 25 words or less, just wrote concise. This was not Anthony. I got on my answering machine, and I'm keeping it because I treasure it, a couple of years ago, a message from my then future son-in-law, very politely informing me that he was thinking of having a barbecue along with Julia and some of her friends at our house in our absence. Very nice of him to tell me that. This is not a great deal of information to impart. It's probably about 6 seconds. But seeing as my answering machine only records for 2 minutes, we struggled to get all the Now it's my privilege, as the father of the bride, to impart some words of wisdom about married life to the newly married couple. And being a 36-year man, I think that I'm just not qualified, maybe. So I'll just get behind him to embarrass him even further. And I did actually think originally of using the words of Winston Churchill, who said that this is not the beginning of the end, it's just the end of the beginning. As soon as he was talking about war, my heart missed. So the only thing I'd say to them is just keep working on your game. You know, there may be tough times, and I think everybody here will admit that they do have tough times in a marriage, but these are what makes the good times even better. So you're now man and wife, but if you stay best friends, then you're really made. All I'd say is always respect each other and be happy. And then you can laugh your way to old age together. So for all those of you who are still awake, I'd like you all to be upstanding, please. Well, I propose a toast to these two wonderful people, to Anthony and Julia, the new Mr. and Mrs. Metcalf, the happy couple, the bride and groom.